Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, February 22nd. Skipped yesterday. Now, Bob was not ready to play D&D. He didn't have things ready for the session, and we knew that. So no D&D with buddies. But that gave me time to go take the clothes that I'd cleared out of my closet over to Mom's, now that the ice was melted and I could get them in there without issue. Got that in the little basement closet that I have over there for storage. And then went by Walmart and bought a few more storage containers. Check this out, check this out. Check this out. I am so excited. Look at all that storage. So 1, 2, and then another one of these here. Just because I also constantly need storage for smaller things. Some of these big minis might go in here, the ones that don't fit in the drawers. But otherwise, at least a few of the drawers are going to end up being for Dwarven Forge. Now I got Kickstarter reward stuff already. It'll at some point be arriving, and that I don't have anywhere to store yet, so that's what that'll be. That's fun. Gotta love some new storage for things that I want to have. Otherwise, it's Tuesday. You know what that means. Movie day. I think I'm gonna watch the last Ernest movie that I own. This says Essential Ernest. The actual name of the movie is Ernest Goes to Africa. This is a set that has that, and then like greatest hits and family album, which in general is stuff like the character came from commercials. Like he was a character that was in commercials for multiple different companies way back when. And like, so it has like some of the commercials, and so it's a great history dive. But the film that I'm watching with it is Ernest Goes to Africa, which I haven't seen in a long time. But after, I watched Ernest Goes to Camp, which was all right. It was a funny movie. It was enjoyable. But it's the one. It feels a little light because it was the first one. And then I watched Ernest in the Army, which wasn't as good as I would have hoped. And I feel like Ernest Goes to Africa is going to be the same way, because having looked at the titles of the films, I think the ones that I wish that I had, that I wish I could watch, that are actually quite hard to find, are Ernest Rides Again, Ernest Scared Stupid, and Ernest Saves Christmas, I think. Those are the ones that I think my brain, well, two of them, my brain connects to childhood and thinking, oh, that is why I have such memories of how wonderful Ernest was. Ernest Scared Stupid, I don't know if I even watched all of ever, because it scared me as a child. But I'd love to see it. I'd love to have it. Those are the ones I wish that I had, but I don't. So I'll watch the one that I do have. It's on the shelf. Gotta watch it anyways. It's let's just say my expectations for this are a little lower. But all the same, I'll probably get some laughs out of it anyways. And watch Ernest Goes to Africa. And I would give Ernest Goes to Africa a 5.8 out of 10. From the back of the box. Ernest Goes to Africa. Trouble always seems to find our buddy, Ernest P. Worrell. With him losing his job at the gas station due to his bungled repair attempts, looking to impress the waitress he has a crush on, Ernest comes into possession of 2 diamonds stolen from an African tribe. With the thieves thinking he's a secret agent, Ernest and the waitress find themselves kidnapped and taken to Africa, facing all kinds of interesting misadventures. Rated PG. So yeah, movie begins with a villainous Indiana Jones-like escapade of some treasure hunters stealing from a tribe to, take, important relics of a culture somewhere else, because it's a thing that adventure seekers do. Eh? And then we jump over to Ernest, who's getting in trouble with some Karen at a gas station because he can't figure out how to move the steering wheel and messes up a wire in her car. Then things happen, and eventually she crushes her own car against the ceiling, and his boss fires him because it's his fault that she did it. Even though technically she's the one that pulled the lever that slammed the lift into the ceiling with him in the car. Anyways, Waitress doesn't like him because he's just too mundane. Just too boring. Like her, she wants someone more exciting. And then this villainous group gets involved, and like it says, they think that Ernest is a secret agent trying to steal these, I guess they're diamonds according to the back of the box, although they're the eyes of a goalie is the only thing they're ever referred to in the movie. In fact, if in the movie they said diamonds, there's a chance that Ernest would have said, oh, those were the things I painted up and turned into a yo-yo. But no, they say the eyes of a goalie, so nobody has any idea what they're talking about. It's like the opposite of the pronoun game, where using only the proper noun doesn't describe what they're actually looking for and leaves everyone confused. Thus, Waitress and Ernest, caught up in this mess, are kidnapped and taken to Africa, where he falls off the back of a jeep and then rescues her from captivity of a guy that acts like he's gonna hurt her, but is taking like hours of threatening her to do anything, fortunately. So Ernest rescues her, and they're off on their way until, going through wilderness and all that jungle stuff in South Africa. And then she gets captured again, and Ernest rescues her again in a different disguise from a different person who is on the same team as the bad guy, but the two bad guys are against each other because they don't like each other, but they both want the eyes of a goalie. Really, one of them wants him for the other guy so he can sell him for like $6 million to him or whatever. But yeah. And the other one just wants to get them so that he doesn't have to pay $6 million for them if he gets them himself. And then there's a scene where a rhino kicks off two people's heads. Like, you don't actually see it, but, like, you can tell. Like, that's what's going on there. And for a PG, I mean, I guess you don't see it, so sure, keep that PG rating, but that is a disturbing mental image for a PG film. Like, yikes. Rhinoceros playing soccer. Yeah, so Ernest and the girl are off on the run again, traipsing through the jungles, the woods. For a while, I was like, is this even Africa? And I looked it up, and yeah, it's South Africa. But I'm like, you could have found places in America to shoot this. And so then they both get captured by this tribe, who happens to be the same tribe that the eyes of a goalie were stolen from originally. Anyways, the original bad guy that captured them comes in, confronts them. He's the one that had really stolen the eyes from the tribe, kinda. But he blames Ernest was the one that did it. And so they have a battle of truth. In which case, through some fight scene of comedy, Ernest wins. Saves the day, and his yo-yo breaks while he's hitting the guy upside the head with it. And when the yo-yo breaks, everyone looks and they're like, eyes of a goalie, and they're all happy. So in the end, Ernest gets the eyes back to the tribe where they should be, and neither of the bad guys get them. And then we skip a cut, and somehow they're back in America. And this waitress just, Ernest is far too exciting and adventure-seeking for her. She needs someone a little more down-to-earth, more normal. It's just not what she's looking for, she found out. Poor Ernest. But it's silly. Like, there's times in, like, certain shots, like, particularly like the opening credits are composites of multiple images, and you can see on them the digital artifacting of low quality, like, compositing. So there's some issues with that. And I think my biggest issue with it is pacing. It's just kind of this wibbly wobbly pacing that doesn't feel like we're really getting anywhere. Maybe if all along, instead of just having these two evil groups after the eyes, there was like this tribe was trying to find them and get them back as well. And so you knew, like, as it was going, okay, so we're working towards Ernest needs to get it back to who it's supposed to go to. Instead of it seeming like a real coincidence that they ever ended up back there in the first place. And why? Tribe in South Africa has the eyes. Guy stole the eyes from them and is selling them to other guy also in South Africa. That's the original plot for the villain. Yet, that guy that stole them ends up in America losing them in the first place. Why? Why did he go over there with them if the guy he's selling them to for, at that point, was $3 million, because it wasn't so much trouble? Why did he go to America? Why did they ever go there? It doesn't make sense. And it's a lot of the comedy is that cringe comedy, which Ernest always has some of, and some of is good. But as time went on, and this being one of the later Ernest movies, that got to be a little more of the focus. And yeah, I think just timing, pacing, story structure is a big spot where it was lacking. But overall, it's still silly. It's still sit down, laugh, and enjoy. But it's not the kind of thing that makes me then think, I want to watch this again. So, that's kind of where it fits. Otherwise, that's it for my evening. Just one more movie off of the shelf. Thank you for joining me, and joining me as my journey continues.